The world is open. Just 7 countries remain on the red list. Best in the business. Local chef wins top food award. And finally, live music is back after months stuck behind a screen. Hello and welcome to Winchester News Online. I'm Ben Morris. Let's begin with dreaming of a bit of winter sun, with the announcement that holidaymakers have been waiting for, as yet more countries were removed from the red list yesterday. Tom Hooker has the story.
South Africa, Brazil, Jamaica, Turkey, Mexico and Thailand. These are just some of the 47 countries travellers can now visit, as announced yesterday.
It's obviously a major step forward for travel and for people wanting to travel and for the travel sector, with 47 countries coming off the red list, meaning people can now travel, amongst other changes. We know with coronavirus that things can change, but I do also think that at this stage, with so many people fully vaccinated, both here at home but also now abroad, that things have settled down a lot, and that's why this is a major step forward today.
With airline passenger numbers rapidly dropping compared to pre-pandemic figures, even with the recent changes, it's still not enough for most people to lift off their holiday plans.
I think overall, people are still a bit worried overall with it all, seeing, it comes off today, and now there's only 7 list countries which are on the list now. Are they going to be really safe going to their destination? People coming to us are asking us for advice, but the advice can change all the time. It can change from minute to hour all the time.
Even when they're out there.
Yeah.
Which can obviously cause major problems, and obviously for people ready to go as well. Could be at the airport ready, suitcase ready to go, and it could be a no-no.
So with half term just around the corner, the travel industry will be hoping it can lift off back to normality. Tom Hooker, Winchester News Online.
The UK is heading for an energy crisis this winter as prices soar. Gas shortages causing havoc both businesses and households alike. The Treasury is currently considering proposals from energy-intensive industries like steel and glass. Although no official announcement has been made, the Prime Minister is prepared to offer loans for the businesses that have been worst affected. But our reporter, Adele Bouchard, has been looking into how these increasing prices are impacting household bill payers.
Energy prices are rocketing in the UK, but what's behind the rise? There's been an increase in global demand as business picks up as the pandemic eases. Renewable energy sources have also been disappointing, with the UK seeing the least windy summer since 1961. And the colder weather last winter depleted natural gas reserves. Although a global issue, this country is particularly feeling the hit as one of the biggest gas consumers in the world. Nearly half of Great Britain's energy generation comes from gas. Wholesale prices have more than doubled since January, with a 70% increase since August alone. As a result, energy suppliers have been forced to stop trading, unable to meet their price promises to customers. A total of 9 companies have collapsed since September, including Avro Energy, who have a UK customer base of over 500,000. Almost 2 million UK customers have been impacted by the closures. But energy regulator Ofgem is advising customers on fixed tariffs to stay put, save energy and budget where they can. The Energy Saving Trust has gone as far to say that changing our habits, like doing 1 less wash a week or turning down the thermostat, could combat the costs. Ofgem have been switching customers of collapsed firms to alternative suppliers, so far without disruption to energy supply. Currently, there is a price cap in place to protect customers from the spiking prices, but this is due for review in April. Ofgem is warning customers to expect prices to keep increasing.
CO2 prices are also rising as families could struggle to put food on the table this Christmas, as food shortages have hit the nation. The gas is crucial in preserving packaging and promoting the growth of food. consumers may start to see gaps on the supermarket shelves. Alistair English reports.
A lack of CO2 has led to food and drink shortages across the country. In the food industry, CO2 is used to package and preserve food. It is also used to dispense drinks in pubs. Shoppers are finding that there are gaps in supermarkets.
If they're essentials, basics, then yes, it's going to be a problem.
Some of the supermarket shelves are empty.
Yeah, sometimes you go in and there's not what you want on the shelves.
Supermarkets are taking steps to avoid food shortages. For example, Tesco are offering new HGV drivers a £1,000 joining bonus. As part of their Christmas planning, Tesco have also opened additional capacity in their distribution network so they have space for more stock. A Tesco spokesperson has said industry-wide shortage of HGV drivers has led to some distribution challenges. We're working hard to address these and to plan for the months ahead. A steep rise in gas prices have meant fertiliser plants who produce CO2 as a byproduct have had to shut. The shortage affects jobs and could affect the supply of turkeys for the Christmas period. It also has seen empty shelves in supermarkets. In 2018, there was also a CO2 shortage as a heatwave hit. Fizzy drinks and ice cream sales were up. CO2 doesn't just preserve food, it has medical uses. It removes warts and moles, it stimulates breathing, and it is used during invasive surgery. Alistair English, WINOL News.
It's a hugely ambitious project to regenerate the centre of Winchester, but it took a step closer this week as the council agreed to put together a special team to dictate where to construct, while preserving the historical elements in the soil. Here's Kaylee Haselden with what it means for the rebuilding of the city.
What was once a sad and drab part of Winchester City is now starting to be transformed as the council begins their efforts for change.
So this is a really exciting project which will bring new vibrancy, new homes, and new activity to this part of town. But one of the things that we are taking the opportunity to do as part of that redevelopment is to get a much better understanding of the archaeology of this part of Winchester. Moving forward, we may well be moving to more work to find out what's on site, maybe some small excavations, but that will depend on professional advice. Because the important thing here is that we're working with archaeologists, with people who really know what they're doing, to try and minimise damage to the history of what's here on the site as part of our redevelopment.
Archaeologists at the University of Winchester are set to investigate the central Winchester regeneration site by using boreholes, which will safely extract the sediment and data that is needed to determine any change of plans in the city centre project.
As a way to keep the public informed, the council and the archaeologists have organised a meeting to discuss the future events and what impacts they may have on the city.
What we've done here is we've drilled 13 boreholes through the development in order to try and reconstruct the different layers of the site. And we have found that the archaeological layers extend to about 4.5 metres below the ground surface. They are waterlogged, which means they contain bits of wood, plant remains, etc., which are all very useful for reconstructing the nature of life during the Roman period, Saxon and medieval periods.
I'm Kaylee Haselden, Winchester News Online.
Hampshire officially has the best chef in the country. Gordon Stott from Basingstoke took top honours at the Great British Pub Awards for his delicious dishes. Eleanor Dixon has been to sample them.
Gordon Stott, a local chef from Basingstoke, has won the title of Best Chef from the annual Great British Pub Awards. The event was hosted by Scott Mills in a London pub at the end of September and live-streamed across Facebook, YouTube and Screech.
This year's Best Pub Chef winner caught the attention of the judges with the way they use their extensive knowledge of ingredients to create mouth-watering and standout dishes. And so, the winner of Best Pub Chef 2021 is Gordon Stott.
The multi-award winning chef is the patron of the Purefoy Arms, located here in the village of Preston, Candover. Mr. Stott has owned the pub for about 3.5 years, but the building has been standing since the 1860s.
It's been fantastic. We've got some great compliments and saying well deserved and everything. I mean, it is a team effort at the end of the day. We I work hard, but so does the rest of the team. So we all do try and drive the Purefoy upwards as much as we can. And we source all our produce as local as possible. Our coffee is literally a mile down the road that way. We get some wine a mile down the road that way. Our meat is all based in Hampshire. Our veg, our fish, as much as we can from Hampshire. Knowing where the food comes from is quite important for not only us but the customers nowadays. I like to take dishes and transfer them into something modern. So at the moment we have an egg and soldiers dish as a starter.
The overall winner of the Great British Pub Award is to be announced on the 19th of October. Eleanor Dixon, Winchester News Online.
Now we move over to Isabella Jagger with the latest COVID roundup.
In the United Kingdom, over 8 million people have now tested positive for COVID-19. Daily cases have remained high throughout the month, with the last few days seeing numbers creep up again, with a further 40,000 confirmed daily cases announced yesterday. Daily deaths have now steadied, with a further 28 deaths within 28 days of a positive test reported yesterday. England has seen the majority of UK deaths since the pandemic began, with more than 130,000 confirmed deaths so far. Hospital numbers are also stabilising, with the most recent government figures showing over 5,000 people with coronavirus in hospitals in the UK, with the latest daily figure of 816 people admitted into hospital with the virus. And the vaccine rollout continues, with more than 49 million people who have received their first dose of a vaccine, with a daily figure of over 22,000. The number of people who have received a second vaccine dose is now more than 45 million, with a daily figure of over 19,000 announced yesterday. And in Winchester, over 10,000 people have now tested positive for COVID-19, with the latest daily figure of 99 reported yesterday. In the last week, over 600 people have had a confirmed positive test result, showing an increase of over 48% compared to the previous 7 days. The daily number of patients in Hampshire hospitals with the virus stands at 2, with 28 new admissions in the last week, showing an increase of over 133% compared to the previous week. And in the past week in Winchester, there have been 0 recorded deaths within 28 days of a positive test for coronavirus. This shows no change compared to the previous week. And more than 99,000 people in Winchester have received their first dose of a COVID vaccine, with a daily figure of 29. The number of people who've received their second dose is now more than 93,000, with the latest daily figure of 33 announced yesterday.
And now here's Hager Hagen with the local news.
Hampshire police are looking for witnesses after a fatal crash on Morstead Road in Winchester this weekend. A motorcyclist died after a collision with a Citroën Picasso on Saturday. The police are particularly looking for anyone who may have dashcam footage of the accident. National Express coaches will no longer stop in Winchester. The company says the coach stop in the city is no longer suitable. It says that their services to and from Winchester will be back as soon as possible, but can't confirm a new stop yet. Meanwhile, Marvel Zoo has welcomed a new Grevy's zebra foal. The zoo now has 6 Grevy's zebras after the birth of the foal that is yet to be named. The Grevy's zebras are found in areas of northern Kenya and Ethiopia and are one of Africa's rarest large mammals.
Thanks, Hager. After this wraps up, I'm on my way to see some zebras. But you've still got Alex here with a sport. What do you think, Alex? Do you like zebras?
Who doesn't love a zebra? Thanks, Ben. The country's interest in tennis has spiked since Emma Raducanu's unlikely victory at the US Open, inspiring those of all age groups to get out there and pick up a racket. We sent Jude Richards to speak to the university tennis captain ahead of the sport's return to campus.
As the new academic year commences, the Tennis Society returns for another season, this time with a new captain at the helm. Second-year student Mark Anthony Willett has played tennis all over Europe throughout his childhood, but is now set to face a fresh challenge, leading the Winchester tennis team forward as the new campaign gets underway this week.
Well, as captain, I want to make sure that our team is as strong as possible and that it develop and improve them throughout the season and we finish as high as possible in our division. I think it's really important. Coming to uni, I wanted to be captain at some point. So for me to have it as a second year is really good because it gives me an opportunity to build the team this year and also have an opportunity next year to just do even better.
The Winchester Tennis Society is back in action for the first time in 18 months as they face Bristol this Wednesday. But the question is, what sort of impact will the new captain make on this team? Drew Richards, Winchester News Online.
From tennis to professional ice hockey now. The Basingstoke Bisons hosted Swindon Wildcats on Friday night. Ed Brown watched this one.
The Basingstoke Bison hosted the Swindon Wildcats on Friday night, and it was a chippy affair with late hits and penalties galore. The Wildcats drew first blood. Floyd Taylor with a smooth shot into Alex Metham's net. The battle raged on into the second period, but it was the Wildcats' Chris Jones who scored next, calmly stroking the second into an empty net. Early in the third period, Aaron Nell wrapped up the win for the Wildcats, with little in the way of any fight back from the Bison. What went wrong tonight?
I mean, it's unacceptable to lose at home. We've lost, well, we got 1 point out of the last 3 games at home, and you know, I feel like we're just not showing up at home at the moment, and we're showing up away. So I think we need to work on that.
Are there any positives to take from the game?
Yeah, I mean, Messi's playing well. Of course, there's always positives you can take out of a game, but I think at the moment we're not really looking at that. We're looking at what we're doing wrong, and we're trying to change that.
The Bison host Peterborough at the Basingstoke Arena this Saturday. Ed Brown, Winchester News Online.
Thanks, Ed. And international football has returned as World Cup qualification reaches its climax. I have Jack Charlton here with us now to fill us in the action. Jack.
Thanks, Alex. Gareth Southgate's side face Hungary tonight in Group I, looking to take one step closer towards Qatar 2022. England need to take 6 points from the remaining 3 fixtures in order to qualify. The Three Lions comfortably beat Andorra on Saturday night and will beat Hungary, if you excuse the pun, to replicate their success in Budapest at Wembley this evening. Last night, Wales snatched a vital 1-0 win in Estonia as talisman Kiefer Moore stabbed in from close range to keep their chances of a World Cup since 1958 alive. The victory keeps Rob Page's side level on points with the Czech Republic in Group E with a game in hand. Germany became the first team to qualify for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar after thrashing North Macedonia by 4-0. Chelsea duo Timo Werner, who got 2, and Kai Havertz were on the score sheet for the Mannschaft. The Netherlands ran riot in Rotterdam, scoring 6 against Gibraltar in Group G, with Liverpool centre-half Virgil van Dijk putting the Orangie into an early lead. A brace from Memphis Depay took Louis van Gaal's side into the break with a 3-goal advantage before Denzel Dumfries, Arnold Danjuma and Daniel Marlin got in on the act during the second half to complete the rout.
Thanks for that, Jack. That's all from the sports team. Here now with entertainment is Jen Howard.
Thank you, Alex, for everything sport. Now, I'm Jen Howard, and this week we've got even more entertainment for you. First up, Anija Laleva took to the streets of Winchester to find the best night out, and who better to ask than the public?
With many students arriving in university just recently, and those who didn't have the chance to enjoy their nights out during COVID, have been exploring the pubs around the area. But which places are the favourites?
Rising Sun, yeah. It's like the little pub right down the end. You have to cross halfway to town, but yeah.
I normally go to Spoons just because it's cheap. Obviously you've got the app table service. But otherwise I think Rising Sun's quite good.
I think it's Bob because of the fun themes and societies.
The more affordable drinks can be found in Wetherspoons, Exchange and Alfie's. But if you're looking for some dance floors, Pitchers and Piano, Vodka, as well as O'Neill's have been the most suggested. However, with a good night out, it's important to look after your safety. So when possible, look after your drink, book a taxi home, or walk in large groups, use well-lit roads, and always tell someone your location. For many, a good night out can be a deal breaker when choosing university. While enjoying many pubs that Winchester has to offer, it's important to keep yourself and others safe. This is Annie Eleva, Winchester News Online.
From dancing under the bright lights to reading sonnets, Winchester Poetry Festival returned last weekend, as Torrin Budd reports.
Last weekend, Winchester Discovery Centre played host to the first edition of the Winchester Poetry Festival since 2019.
It's been really wonderful to celebrate all those works, which really kind of reflect on life in the UK and over the world over the last year. So it's been wonderful to congratulate them in person. As you can probably hear from the noise behind me, the connections you can make in person, particularly after people share their phones, are incredible. So I think there's lots of people here who
it's kind of a bit like having a piece of cake and not being able to taste it. You can see it, you can smell it, you can touch it, but the flavour's not quite there. So yeah, it's so cool.
So my poem's called Jem, and Jem's my sister who works for loads of different groups of people all over the world, but mostly quite wealthy people, and I think people think that it's quite a glamorous job, but I think she has to put up with a lot, really.
Torrin Budd, Winchester News Online.
And finally, after months of online streaming due to COVID, we can see our favourite music artists live once again. Not only that, but students in Winchester are back to performing. With it being a pivotal part of many students' lives, Izzy Higgs found out how they're feeling about being in touch with music again.
Music is a big deal here at the University of Winchester. It's a great way to keep your brain active between lectures, as well as a way to socialise and make friends. But the last 18 months have been a bit of a challenge.
I was involved in running online string rehearsals and online folk rehearsals. I was part of supporting my colleague Vicky running online vocal rehearsals, and yeah, we held 2 online showcases, and we've been doing virtual concerts.
These buildings, which stood all but empty for the past year and a half, are now bustling with life once more as in-person classes are back. Being back in person is 1,000 times better because you can actually communicate in choirs, and it just feels a lot more like a community.
I got emotional on the first day back because I was just thanking everyone for coming, and I teared up and I was like, oh my god.
The choirs are uniting for Grad Week, performing 14 times across 4 days in Winchester Cathedral. The acoustics, there's nothing quite like singing in such a big venue and just having the sound echo all around you. All in all, everyone is happy to be back on campus and happy to be getting ready to perform for audiences again.
The atmosphere is great in the cathedral. You think it's good in the chapel, wait for the cathedral.
This has been Izzy Higgs with Winchester News Online.
So that's all from me this week. Back to you, Ben.
Thanks for that, Jen. Well, that's all that we have time for today. I'm Ben Morris. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.